What is up, guys? This is Godzilla Suplex, and welcome to today's episode of UFC Zilla, where I'll be giving my predictions on the UFC Fight Night 160 main event. Two up-and-coming fighters in the middleweight division, Jared Cannonier and Jack Hermansson. But before I do that, please hit that subscribe button, also hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time I make a video. So guys, let's get into this because the middleweight division is on fire right now. The talent pool is so deep to the point where anybody in this division next to that lightweight division can pretty much become champion. Everybody from Paulo Costa to Yoel Romero. I mean, if anybody has a good burst or if some champion gets injured, we could be having whole new champions at this point. And one of the two guys that are really surprising us all and rising through the ranks is Jared Cannonier with his upset win over the legendary Anderson Silva, and Jack the Joker Hermansson over his shocking domination of Jacare Souza. So these guys have already just popped out of nowhere and have gotten shocking wins over top tier opponents and are on their way up this division. And now these kind of up and coming stars are facing each other to see who is the best, and really this is going to tell who's going to really be in that contentious spot with Paulo Costa, because I think that's whoever wins this is going to fight next for that number one contentious spot with Israel Adesanya. So what are the fire goals for these two up and coming stars? First, let's start off with Jared Cannonier, who clearly has the physical advantage over Jack Hermansson, and I think what he needs to do is he needs to stick to all power shots and really make Jack Hermansson slow down his great pacing that he showed off against Jacare Souza. He's going to try and get the takedown, which Jared Cannonier needs to stop to make sure he doesn't fall into this pattern of, okay, what is Jack Hermansson going to do next? He needs to make the match as simple as possible and make sure it's just standing up on the feet, blow for blow, where Jack Hermansson really has to force himself to kind of stand in front of Jared Cannonier's punches and take whatever he's dishing out to a minimum, probably like 4 punches per round, which in that case perfectly puts Jared Cannonier in the position to maybe hit a really strong strike and interrupt Jack Hermansson's fast-paced head movement. So really making Jack Hermansson slow down is the key to Jared Cannonier's win, and make sure he takes heavy shots and buckles under his power punches. But now, what is the strategy for Jack Hermansson to win this fight? And it's a multiple quantity of things, starting off that he's got to avoid Jared Cannonier's leg kicks, because he's going to try and slow down his pace, slow him up, put him up against the cage, and start throwing power shots for Jack Hermansson to eat. So in order to avoid that, he's got to watch the legs, constantly duck his head, and make sure he's using up as much energy as possible in the first couple of rounds, because then outside of that, the fight goes your way, because once Jared Cannonier is tired, he can't throw accurate punches. Then you can go and mix up takedowns with elbows and really confuse Jared Cannonier for the rest of that fight. So really the goal, don't get hit by leg kicks, don't get hit by power shots, keep moving and ducking, make Jared Cannonier miss, and up the pressure in the later rounds, come out careful, and then later in the fight, absolutely dominate him on the ground. So now that we have the fire goals out of the way, let's talk about some of the scenarios that might happen in this very interesting fight where it's power versus stamina and skill. And in the first round, what if Jack Hermansson gets rocked and he's hit hard by Jared Cannonier? What is going to be his response throughout the fight? Because we want to pull up a plausible scenario about what if they're even, what if they get knocked out. And starting off with this first one, we had to think, if Jack Hermansson gets hit really hard, he's liable to get knocked out. But what if he survives that round? That's where the interesting part, because then Jack Hermansson's whole idea is that he needs to have multiple rounds under his belt, and now he's trailing 1-0. So then Jared Cannonier can kind of step off the gas and sort of let Jack Hermansson's pressure come to him, recklessly trying to get those rounds back because he's behind. And I think the most likeliest scenario is that Jack Hermansson is able to recover properly, especially with his energy, and be able to, make a comeback in that fight. Whereas if we flip it with Jared Cannonier, let's say he gets taken down by Jack Hermansson, I think it's going to be a much tougher fight, knowing that Jack Hermansson can keep up that 5-round pace. And we really don't know about Jared Cannonier, especially him cutting all this weight. He was originally a heavyweight, over 205, and now he's cut down to 180. So, or excuse me, a little bit below 180. And now that has to be really tough on your body. Of course, it is good for 3-round fights because that's less fighting time. But in a 5-round fight, those extra 10 minutes can really put dampening on your stamina when you're cutting that much weight. So you also have to keep that in mind. So the first round really is going to be the emphasis of this fight, because whoever gets off to that hot start is really going to dictate what the other one does later in the fight. So if Jack Hermanson wins the first couple of rounds, Jared Cannonier is going to have to burn that energy in the 3rd and 4th round, leaving him open to late 4th round, 5th round, TKO or knockouts, because he's going to be using up that energy. And then if Jack Hermanson gets knocked down, he's going to have to continue that pressure and change his style for the whole fight to try and pull off this victory while staying composed, while staying defensively careful and watching out for Jared Cannonier's shots. So that first round, or the first round and a half, is really going to tell where this fight is going to go, because it could go either way, putting the other one at a disadvantage. And in a case of that fight that's close, they're both careful, they both hit hard, they're both going back and forth. Maybe Jack Hermanson gets 2 or 3 takedowns like the average, and Jared Cannonier is able to get back up, and they're just pound for pound close to each other. It's a decision fight. I think what would happen is Jack Hermanson would win. I think the pace outbeats the power shots. We see that often in judges' decisions, and my prediction is that Jack Hermanson wins by decision, or actually I'm going to change that, wins by 3rd round submission in this fight, blowing out Jared Cannonier's knees, putting the pace on him, avoiding his power shots, and eventually getting the submission win. But now I want to transition to my back topic of this episode, and to just celebrate the win for Weili Zhang. She is now the champion, knocking out Andrade in the first round, 42 seconds. It was unbelievable. We knew that she had the skill set to do this, and in her own country, that's why the UFC even booked the fight, because they were highly confident that Zhang matched up well against Andrade. And just to tell the truth, like what I said in my other episode, the win she got over Rose Andrade was a fluke. She's not real championship material. She got really lucky with that slam, and it just showed tonight. She did not fight like a champion, she fought like a contender, and it really showed against somebody with the prestige and skill of Weili Zhang, with her just amazing skill in the ring. I mean, the way she hit Andrade with those knees was absolutely unbelievable, as you see in the clip I'm showing you now. I mean, the girl is just ready. And now, what really happens to Andrade now, because she was unproven in the first place. She got that lucky knockout slam over Rose. Is it now going to be Rose versus Andrade, 2? Or, is it going to be a redemption story? Because now that the title's out of the way, that fight seems a little bit more, plausible, as these two are trying to get redemption after their losses. Then who's Weili Zhang gonna fight? Which is more interesting, which is probably gonna be the winner of Michelle Waterson versus Joanna Jacek. So man, everything's looking up for that strawweight division. I mean, these girls are fighting at such a high level, and congratulations to Weili Zhang. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you Andrade is a fluke. So guys, that concludes the episode of UFC Zilla. Leave a comment in the comment section. Do you think Andrade is a fluke? Were you surprised that Weili Zhang won? And who you think is going to win between Jack Hermanson and Jared Cannonier? This has been the best Gojira in UFC news and predictions. Sign off, guys. See y'all later.